The biggest TV queen in the Philippines says she is just a simple girl from Cavite. She posts videos of herself playing with her kids and dancing in a cap and jogging pants like she has no care in the world. But look closer, and you will see she has quietly built a 3-story resort compound worth millions where her entire family lives together behind locked gates. Is she really just the girl from the province, or has she built a private kingdom that the whole country is sleeping on? Let's find out. Chapter 1. The Province Girl Who Never Forgot Where She Came From. Here is the thing you have to understand about Marian. Her entire financial mindset was shaped before she ever stepped in front of a camera. She did not grow up rich. She grew up in Cavite, raised by her grandmother Francisca while her mother worked abroad. No famous connections. No wealthy relatives handing her anything. Just a young girl in the province learning the value of stability the hard way because she had no other choice. And that early life lesson never left her. It became the foundation of every major decision she ever made with money. Most stars get their first big television contract and immediately upgrade everything. They want a car upgrade. They want the condo upgrade. They want the public to see the transformation as fast as possible. They want proof of arrival. But Marian moved differently from the very beginning. When the money started coming in through Marimar, through Diezabel, through Darna, through Amaya, she did not blow it chasing the lifestyle. She kept her eyes on something permanent, and she stayed patient about it for longer than most people could manage. She understood something that most young actors never figure out until the money is already gone. Fame is a currency that expires, but land and property are currencies that compound. So she and Dingdong started laying the groundwork early. They talked about their dream home for 2 full decades. That is not a figure of speech. Dingdong himself said this publicly when they finally moved in. The dream took over 20 years to build. They moved from Quezon City to Makati in 2015. They bought property. They saved. They planned. They had conversations about what they wanted the space to feel like, what kind of home they wanted Zia and Ziggy to grow up inside, what the architecture should say about who they are as a couple. And then, in 2019, the actual construction of Casa Dantes finally began. For 4 years, they were quietly building while the public watched them on television every single night. No big media announcement, no construction vlogs, no countdown. Just 2 people stacking their legacy brick by brick, year after year, without needing anyone to applaud the work in progress. Patience is the strategy, and it is the same strategy that turned a girl from Cavite into the owner of one of the most valuable private compounds in the entire country. Chapter 2. The compound that looks like a resort. Now, let's talk about what is actually happening inside those gates. When you see the photos of Casa Dantes for the first time, your first reaction is that this cannot possibly be a private family home. It looks like a boutique resort in Palawan. It looks like the kind of property you would find on a hotel booking site with a nightly rate that most people would screenshot and send to their friends as a joke. And that is exactly what they built. Not a showy mansion trying to prove something. A genuine resort-quality compound designed to function as a real home for a real family. The main structure is a 3-story house that mixes warm Filipino wood with modern construction and clean architectural lines. It is not flashy in the way that most celebrity homes try to be flashy. There is no gold plating. There are no columns pretending to be a European palace. It is a quiet, confident luxury. The kind that tells you money is present without ever needing to shout about it. The exterior has a full tropical aesthetic with lush greenery framing every angle of the building. Inside, the layout is open plan in a way that makes the space feel enormous even when the whole extended family is gathered together. The dining area is surrounded by glass walls and gives a full, unobstructed view of the outdoor garden. The living room connects directly to the pool area, so the boundary between inside and outside practically disappears. You can be sitting in the living room and feel like you are already outdoors. Dingdong's study room is dark, wood-heavy, and stacked with personal memorabilia, including a replica of the shield from the film 300 and an original Batman action figure. The room has that cozy den energy he specifically wanted. Paintings on the walls, no bright overhead lighting. Marian's office space is the complete opposite. It is all light tones and clean surfaces, decorated with her flower arrangements and the kinds of details that make a workspace feel like a creative sanctuary. Their tastes are entirely different. People might say they would clash. But they made it work because they sat down together and built a thoughtful compromise out of two very distinct visions. And then there is the pool, the centerpiece of the entire outdoor compound. It is a large swimming pool wrapped in a tropical veranda that looks like it was photographed for an architecture magazine. Palm trees on one side, potted greenery everywhere you look. On the day they moved in, Zia was the first one in the water. Dingdong posted the photo and wrote that she was always the first one in and the last one out. That single image told the whole story of what this place is really for. It is not a status symbol. It is a family home where the children are happy and the parents are finally at peace. But none of this beauty was accidental. Dingdong's brother Angelo, a licensed civil engineer, oversaw the entire construction from the ground up. Every structural decision was intentional. Every material choice was thought through. This is not a house that just happened. This is a house that was engineered over 4 years by people who cared deeply about every detail. Chapter 3. The endorsement machine behind the empire. Here is where the story moves from luxury to empire. Casa Dantes is a masterpiece of a home. But masterpiece homes cost serious money to build, maintain, and staff at that level. And for Marian, the revenue engine that powers all of it is one of the most staggering endorsement portfolios in the entire history of Philippine entertainment. In 2024 alone, she signed over 40 brand partnerships, 40 in a single calendar year. We are talking about Kiko Milano, Bench, Century Tuna, Dito Telecom, McDonald's, Nido, Wilkins, Vivo Philippines, Bioderm, Home Credit, Tough Mama Appliances, Luxaskin, Avignon Clinic, and Cultura Filipino, among many others. Brands from beauty to technology to food to telecommunications to household appliances. She covers the full commercial spectrum in a way that almost no single celebrity in this country ever has. And the brands are not just putting her face on a billboard and walking away. They are fighting to keep her. They are renewing her contracts and bringing her back year after year because she delivers. New White, one of her beauty supplement partners, publicly renewed her deal in 2024, and the CEO of the brand went on record to explain the decision. They did not choose her because she was just the most beautiful face available. They chose her because she is credible. She earns trust with audiences in a way that very few celebrities can replicate, regardless of how famous they are. At 40 years old, happily married to her longtime partner, with 2 children, and a personal brand that has never been touched by a major public scandal, she is the safest and most bankable endorsement asset in the country. She is someone that brands can attach their name to without a single reservation. Her social media reach backs this up at every level. She has over 13 million followers on Instagram. She is the most followed Filipino celebrity on Facebook, not one of the most followed. The most. And that reach is not passive. It converts. Brands that partner with her see real sales movement because her audience is loyal in a way that casual celebrity followers simply are not. Estimates from her combined digital platforms put her total annual earnings well above $1 million when you factor in all revenue streams together, and she does not spend like someone trying to perform wealth. She invests like someone trying to build a dynasty that will still be standing when her children are grown. Every deal is a building block. Every check is a brick in the foundation of something bigger than any single project. Chapter 4. The TikTok Takeover. Nobody saw coming. Here is the part of this story that makes Marian Rivera different from every other actress her age. At the exact moment when the industry expected her to start fading, she exploded in a completely new direction and left everyone scrambling to catch up. In August 2023, she posted a simple TikTok video. No production team, no stylist, no elaborate set. She was wearing a cap, an oversized shirt, and jogging pants. She danced to Jessie J's price tag and wrote "Try Lang" in the caption like it was the most casual thing she had done all week. That video went on to rack up over 200 million views. Not 200,000, not 2 million, but 200 million. It became one of the most viewed TikTok uploads ever posted by a Filipino celebrity in the history of the platform. But she did not stop there. She followed it with more. She danced to Burna Boy's "It's Plenty" and put tens of millions more views on the board within days. She brought back her own 2009 track, Sabe Sabe Tayo, and the nostalgia alone sent the clip viral across every platform simultaneously. Her Marimar dance challenge racked up 34 million views on TikTok by itself. She went from being the primetime queen of GMA to being dubbed the TikTok queen of the Philippines almost overnight. TikTok Philippines responded by honoring her as Breakthrough Creator of the Year for 2023. She went from 0 to 9 million TikTok followers in a matter of months. She did all of this while simultaneously producing and starring in a film. And not just any film. Rewind, her 2023 Metro Manila Film Festival entry alongside Dingdong, ended the holiday season as the highest-grossing Filipino film of all time. It pulled over 1.2 billion pesos at the worldwide box office. It screened in over 270 cinemas across the Philippines, the United States, Canada, the UAE, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Guam, and Saipan. Then in 2024, she followed it up with a Cinemalaya Best Actress win for her first independent film Balota. The same year, she locked in over 40 brand partnerships. The same year, Pep Most Influential declared her box office royalty. She stacked record after record across multiple industries in the span of 18 months. That is not a comeback arc. That is a total takeover. Chapter 5. The Cavite Roots and the Dream. She was building all along. Here is what most people miss when they look at the surface of Marian's story. The compound is not just a status symbol. It is a direct and deliberate answer to everything she grew up without. She was born in Madrid, Spain, but raised by her grandmother in Cavite while her mother worked thousands of miles away in London. She grew up knowing what it felt like to have a parent on the other side of the world. She grew up knowing what it felt like to want a place that felt completely safe and completely permanent. That feeling never left her. It became the engine behind every sacrifice she made in the industry and every peso she saved instead of spending. When they finally moved into Casa Dantes in November 2022, Dingdong described the moment with the kind of weight that you cannot manufacture for a press release. He called it a family anchor. He said it was something worth keeping, something worth protecting, something worth passing down. The first thing Marian posted when they moved in was not a house tour. It was not a glamour shot of the pool. It was a photo of a crucifix commissioned from contemporary sculptor Daniel de la Cruz with the words "Home Sweet Home" underneath. That is her announcement. That is how she tells the world something matters to her. Not with spectacle, with faith and family. That tells you everything about what this compound really means underneath all the architecture. And Cavite is never far from her mind or her heart. When Rewind crossed the billion-peso box office mark, Marian revealed publicly that the whole Dantes family had gathered in Cavite together to celebrate over lunch. She did not go to a restaurant in BGC. She did not throw a party in a hotel ballroom. She went back to the province. She went back to the table where she came from. She talked about it with a warmth that was completely real and completely unscripted. The province, the family, the meal together. That is the core of who she is underneath every award, every endorsement, and every viral video. Casa Dantes is her way of making sure that her own children, Zia and Ziggy, never have to feel the distance she felt growing up. They will never know what it means to wait for their mother to come home from somewhere far away. Their mother built the home around them, 3 stories tall, with a pool and a garden, and enough room for everyone she loves. Chapter 6. The Architecture of a Family Village. Casa Dantes is not just one house on one lot. When you look at the full scale of the property and everything it contains, you start to understand that it functions as a private village. The main 3-story structure is the centerpiece of the compound. But the philosophy behind the entire design is distinctly Filipino. You do not just build for yourself, you build for everyone who built you. You build for the people you are responsible for and the people you love. Marian and Dingdong applied that philosophy with professional architecture, real money, and a clear vision of what a forever home is supposed to do for a family. The outdoor spaces are layered and deeply functional. The pool area is large enough to serve as a genuine entertainment space for big family gatherings without feeling crowded. The tropical garden landscaping wraps the entire property in greenery that requires dedicated maintenance and care. The home features commissioned artwork and custom sculpture throughout every section of the property. Even the entrance to the home carries artistic intention. Every room was designed to serve a specific emotional purpose. Dingdong gets his dark and cozy sanctuary lined with wood and personal collections. Marian gets her bright and creative workspace where she can sit with her flower arrangements and think. The children get a home that feels warm and safe and full of life. The whole extended family gets a space where gathering together is not just possible but natural. The security infrastructure is exactly what you would expect from two of the most famous and recognizable people in the country. You do not raise children in the public eye without building real protection around them. Dedicated staff, high perimeter, controlled access. The kind of environment where the children can be children without the industry following them every step of the way. Where Zia can go to the pool in the morning and not worry about being photographed. Where Ziggy can run through the garden and just be a kid. Where Marian and Dingdong can sit at their dining table surrounded by glass walls and garden views and just be a family without it turning into a story. That is the whole point of building something like this. The privacy is not a perk, it is the product. Chapter 7. The DongYan Business Unit. Let's be clear about something important. Casa Dantes is not simply the story of one famous actress building a beautiful home. It is the story of two major entertainment careers being run together like a single, integrated business operation. Dingdong Dantes is not just Marian's husband. He is her co-architect in every meaningful sense of the word. He personally oversaw the 4-year construction process from start to finish. He managed the timeline, coordinated the engineering team, made decisions on the structural work alongside his brother Angelo, and essentially served as the project manager of a multi-million peso construction job while simultaneously maintaining his own career as one of GMA's biggest stars. And when Rewind came out in 2023, they did not just star in it, they produced it. The film was co-produced through Dingdong's production company Agosto dos Media, alongside Star Cinema and APT Entertainment. They had creative and financial stakes in its success. When it crossed 1.2 billion pesos, that was not just a box office record. That was a return on a business investment they had made together. That is a different level of industry participation. That is a couple operating at a tier that very few entertainment partnerships in the Philippines have ever reached. The DongYan brand is a real and valuable commercial entity. Forbes Asia placed Marian on their list of the most influential Filipino celebrities in the Asia-Pacific region in 2020. Their combined social media following reaches an audience that most media brands would pay enormous sums to access. And their chemistry is not manufactured. It is 20 years of genuine partnership showing up on screen in a way that audiences can feel from the first frame. That authenticity is worth more than any marketing strategy. It is the reason Rewind worked the way it worked. It is the reason their audience shows up for every project without needing to be convinced. The compound at the end of the day is the physical home of this partnership. It is where the business unit sleeps, eats breakfast, and plans the next 20 years. Chapter 8. The Legacy Behind the Gates. Finally, let's look at what all of this means in the long arc of their story. Casa Dantes is a real property asset sitting in one of the most valuable urban real estate markets in Southeast Asia. The Makati address alone places the compound in a tier that the vast majority of Filipinos will never have access to in their lifetimes. And the Makati luxury real estate market is not slowing down. Manila recorded one of the highest year-on-year price increases among major global cities in recent years, according to international property analysts. That means the value of the compound is not just preserved, it is growing. Every year it sits there, it becomes worth more. That is the kind of wealth that does not require effort to maintain. It compounds on its own while the owners sleep. But the real legacy is not written on a property appraisal. It is written in what Zia and Ziggy are being raised inside. They are growing up surrounded by intentional design, commissioned art, a pool, a garden, and two parents who chose to put the family first before fame. Zia is already showing the world what she is made of. She performed at the That's Amore concert and held the stage with a maturity that made audiences stop and take notice. Ziggy is growing up in a home built around his safety and his joy. These are children being shaped by an environment of excellence, of thoughtfulness, of ambition paired with deep roots. That is not something money can guarantee, but it is something that two people who planned for 20 years can build. In the end, Marian Rivera is something the industry rarely produces. She is a woman who has been the most recognized face in the Philippines for nearly 20 years and has somehow only grown more powerful as the years have passed. She took the values her grandmother gave her in Cavite and she scaled them into a compound in the heart of Makati. She took her acting income and turned it into a property investment and an endorsement machine that generates millions every year. She took her love story and turned it into the highest-grossing Filipino film of all time. She took a simple TikTok video recorded in a baseball cap and jogging pants and became the breakthrough creator of the year with over 200 million views on a single clip. She did not need to perform humility for the cameras. The performance was never the point. The quiet 20 years of planning were the point. The 4 years of construction were the point. The 40 endorsement deals were the point. The 1.2 billion pesos at the box office was the point. Every single decision she made pointed toward the same destination. A home, a family, a legacy that would outlast every role she ever played. 3 stories of it wrapped in wood and glass and tropical greenery, surrounded by the people she loves and protected from everything she ever had to survive to get there. That is not a house. That is an answer, and it is the most powerful answer she has ever given. She is the girl from Cavite who became the queen of everything. And she did it without ever forgetting where she came from. That is not just a success story. That is the blueprint. As long as people value family, roots, and the long game, Casa Dantes will stand as proof of what that combination can build. So if you were a star like Marian, would you build your forever home in the heart of the city or far out in the province? Drop your answer in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe to her status for more deep dives into the estates behind the fame.